Hi, everybody. Welcome to Red Wings Rant, where tirades and impassioned pleas for your Detroit Red Wings finally have a home. We are rolling into our first Red Wings preseason game up against the Chicago Blackhawks. But what better way to get excited about preseason hockey than to ask some scary questions and some fun questions? So we're going to go through the top 5 questions that the Red Wings need answered here in the preseason. Let's start with an honorable mention because we could get an answer for this any day, any hour. I am speaking to you Tuesday, September 28th. We are yet to hear about Jakub Vrana's situation. Last we heard, he was seeing a specialist to figure out what's going on with, which Jeff Blashill accidentally put out there, his shoulder, which was hurt in his first 10 minutes of practice. This was something that was inflamed, so that could mean a lot of things. Seeing a specialist can mean a lot of things, and if you checked out episode 84 of Red Wings Rant, we did talk about, after speaking to my doctor wife, that seeing a specialist is usually happening in the sports world, either A, because you are just trying to get that second opinion, or you're trying to get confirmed what you would like to do is the right path. It just might be a little bit over the trainer's head. We also might be going into the realm of surgery because, again, it's over the trainer's head. But we need to figure out what exactly is going on. And before the Red Wings give any sort of timetable, that specialist is needed. So I would say that your concern right now for being worried should be somewhere above out of 10, probably above 5. So you want to put yourself maybe 6 or 7 range, because still we don't know what's going on, and seeing a specialist doesn't necessarily mean that everything's going to be okay when we finally hear from them. Just in that realm that there's a normal process for things. Could have been physical therapy to solve all the problems, but of course, since we're seeing a specialist, it is outside of that realm, so we are taking some steps above what that would be. And of course, physical therapy being in that realm of, I would say, a quicker fix, if not the quickest fix, when there is a sports related injury. So this is our top 5 questions. Let's jump into question number 5. Which Grand Rapids Griffins can steal a roster spot? And right now I want to focus on the forwards. So we're going to look at which roster spots I think are actually vulnerable. And we're going to go back to Steve Yzerman's words about getting away from the veterans, giving our younger prospects a chance to show off what they can do. I want to highlight the names of Vladislav Nemestikov, Sam Gagner. I think those roles are up for grabs. And if that means somebody's moving from the 4th line to the 3rd line, absolutely, that's out there. We all loved watching Adam Ernie last season. I do think that he may be vulnerable if it wasn't for how well he played on the power play last year. So watch out for someone that can outplay Adam Ernie on the power play, and I think that role could be taken as well. But who are those boys that could be coming up from Grand Rapids and taking one of those roles? Well, anybody who's a fan of the show knows that I am high on Chase Pearson. A lot of people have come back and said this guy is a career this guy is a career AHLer. So don't get too excited. But this is my man from Atlanta who became a hockey player because of the Atlanta Thrashers. How beautiful would that be? If we take a look at his last couple of seasons, we're talking about 59 games and 22 points in 2019-20. And then getting another 22 points in only 28 games in 2020-2021. This is a big boy. It's 6'2", 190 pounds. He is only 24, and he is a center. So this is an opportunity for someone to take that 4th line center spot that we have a couple of names in there, but I think Chase has an opportunity here. Next name on the list should be a little bit better chance of making the team is Givani Smith, only because there's so many different wing opportunities for our Red Wings. Givani Smith, playing with the Red Wings last year, actually finished the season with being in the top 5 for points per 60. But that's not why you bring in Givani Smith. We need some grit. We need some power. We need a guy that's going to throw the fisticuffs if need be, especially with so many young guys that are supposedly supposed to be getting roster spots. So if Givani Smith gets in there, we've got somebody that can protect him and put the puck in the back of the net. Next guy on the list would really have to play a great preseason, but I do think with the last couple of years that he's gotten shots in the NHL and for the Detroit Red Wings, could just be his last shot, but Taro Hirose. He did only play 6 games last year, but he still managed to throw up 2 points. Look for Hirose to only get a spot if he can perform really well on special teams. There's probably a conversation to be had for Mr. Riley Barber. Jonathan Berggren's in there too, but I consider him to be more of a Red Wing and waiting while he's hanging out in Grand Rapids. And of course, Lucas Raymond conversation to come up. Question number 4. And speaking of Grand Rapids Griffins, let's talk about Joe Veleno and what he needs to do to earn a roster spot. Steve Yzerman's made mention that he doesn't want any of these guys to just be coming onto the team to fill out the roster. These guys have to make a difference. So while Steve has made it very clear that he wants to start to transition to giving these younger players more time, I think there is still something to the conversation that Joe Veleno is better served to be in that top 6 for the Grand Rapids Griffins. But most importantly for Joe Veleno, he needs to show that he's ready to go on the power play and on the penalty kill. He did have a pretty good showing last season. I would give him high marks, but it's something that he needs to continue to do. And everything we've seen in the prospect tournament, in the red and white game so far, hasn't blown my socks off. And that's the type of performance I think we need to see from Joe Veleno for the Red Wings to be more comfortable in putting him in a role that he can make a difference. Remember, Steve Yzerman said he wants to see these young guys in top 9 roles when it comes to the forwards. And you can only assume top 4 when it comes to the defensemen. So if they aren't earning those spots, you can either say that this isn't a top prospect anymore for the Detroit Red Wings, or that they just need some more season. Question number 3, Steve Yzerman has also let us know that he is going to be going with 8 defensemen to start the season. So who will those 8 defensemen be? Well, pretty easily we can surmise that it's going to include in the top 4 Danny DeKeyser, Philip Baranek, Nick Leddy, and Moritz Seider. But to fill out the rest, we could go with the bottom pair that worked out pretty well last season as we saw some success from Troy Stecher and Mark Stahl. But are those spots vulnerable? I think they're vulnerable, and it could be vulnerable to Wyatt Newpower, Gustav Lindstrom, and Jordan Osterley. You also have the likes of Luke Witkowski, who could earn his way if there were injuries or if he played well enough just because of his veteran status. Now, if I had to take a guess right now, I'd be going with Lindstrom and Osterley. But don't forget about Newpower. And like I said, there are a few others who could just earn their way. So keep an eye out for who those 8 defensemen could be. And look out, of course, for once the season gets rolling, for if that bottom pair still stays being Troy Stecher and Mark Stahl, because there's a great chance that either one or both of those guys doesn't do enough here in the preseason to hold on to that spot. And one more key wrinkle here is going to be Danny DeKeyser. Last season, he was coming back from major surgery, but can he continue to play at a high level and still stick in the top 4 pairings? For me, that was the easy way for me to put together a depth chart and a roster, but still a key element here as we continue to break down who is going to be on this roster and what could happen during the preseason. Question number 2 is going to revolve around the power play. We have already brought up 2 different names that could be affected by special teams and earning a roster spot in Taro Hirose and Joe Veleno. Outstanding performances could get them there, but for their outstanding performances to actually happen, we have to have a successful power player, one that's actually putting shots on net. So what I'm asking everybody to keep an eye out for is zone entries for the power play. We can talk about personnel, we can talk about who's playing where, but if the puck can't get into the offensive zone on the power play, you're going to go through long streaks and droughts, just like the Red Wings did last season. You're going to do that every year. Show me that they've improved that. And I want to see if Alex Tunge is truly improving this team. That's something that I want to see at least make a difference here in the preseason. And then once we have those zone entries, I think we can go that next step and start to measure, is this power play actually putting successful plays together that aren't necessarily cookie cutter, but something special, something different, and something that takes advantage of the names that we're actually going to be throwing out on the power play. And of course, during the preseason, is going to include the likes of Lucas Raymond. On to question number 1. Sticking with Lucas Raymond, is there something that Lucas Raymond can do to be a no question, absolute roster lock for game 1 and for an 82 game season? I honestly, at this point, don't think there is anything he can do realistically and reasonably. Lucas Raymond would need to score in every single one of these games to make it impossible for Detroit Red Wings front office to tell the fans that Lucas Raymond is not playing this season. Something the Red Wings have been fantastic at is having realistic expectations and knowing what a single player can bring to this team. And that being said, a single player is not going to get this team into a playoff consideration. Even adding the likes of Connor McDavid, according to some statistical models, is only going to bring the Red Wings a step closer towards a playoff spot and outside of our top 10 lottery placement, but it doesn't guarantee us a playoff spot. And that is the likes of some of the best in the league. So is Lucas Raymond going to perform to that level? Nay, even beyond that? No. So, barring an incredible, unprecedented performance from Lucas Raymond in the preseason here, there really is not much that Lucas can do to get on this opening night roster, and I think it's mostly due towards trying to save a year of his entry-level contract. The key here is that any player who's signed to an entry-level contract and is at the age of 18 or 19 who does not play a minimum of 10 NHL games, both regular season and playoffs, AHL does not count. Their contract is considered to slide or extend by 1 year. The best thing the Red Wings could do right now is extend those contracts so that when the Red Wings really are ready to contend, they have more money to spend elsewhere or trade for veteran players. Lucas Raymond's entry-level contract is an incredible asset right now and something that needs to revolve around every strategic decision going forward. If the Red Wings can't guarantee a playoff spot right now, they can certainly guarantee a way to extend Lucas Raymond's entry-level contract, and that is not playing him more than those 10 games. Red Wings would benefit from it. The fans will benefit from it in the long run. And while the Red Wings' main strategy for all offseason acquisitions and movement of players has been flexibility, this would continue to give the Red Wings just that. So let me know what you're going to be thinking of while you're watching these preseason games. I'm sure the goalie tandem is something we could be talking about. Will somebody be able to stand out and become a for sure starter? We're still going to be going 50-50 on the game split. There's a ton of questions to be answered. Is Dylan Larkin going to look fine enough to be ready to go for the start of the season? I think that is a very reasonable, legitimate question. Well, let me know what you guys are thinking. We'll talk about it and chat in the video here, as I always love to do. And if you guys will keep an eye on our Twitter, at BOD Hockey, we are still doing a Red Wings Rant ticket giveaway for October 21st against the Calgary Flames. You guys have to follow us, like, and retweet the tweet that we have pinned on our account and comment who you'd like to take. Now, you're listening to this right now. That means you aren't just following us on Twitter. It means you're watching us on YouTube. If you could, please subscribe to this account and give us a subscribe, comment, and review on Apple Podcasts, and you get bonus entries. That's right, bonus entries into that giveaway. We're just going to be adding more of your name to the Excel spreadsheet, giving you a better chance to win. If you do all of those things, you'll have your best chance to win 2 Red Wings tickets to watch the Red Wings take on the Calgary Flames October 21st at Little Caesars Arena. All right, everybody, thank you for tuning in, and we will see you guys on the next live